Welcome to another edition of Expert Talks by Kalkine TV. I'm your host today, Sage, and we have a special guest from Polygon, Irvit Goel, the VP of Global Games Business Development. And Polygon is a top 20 crypto by market capitalization. They're an Ethereum scaling solution helping to create the Internet of Blockchains, and Polygon is fast becoming the de facto platform for Web 3.0. You may have heard of Instagram's recent launch of NFTs with Polygon. Their broad range of scaling options and some of the industry's lowest transaction fees have made it a destination for some of the biggest Web3 platforms and developers, from metaverse projects such as Decentraland and The Sandbox to gaming publishers like Ubisoft, Atari, even Animoca brands, and now Tilting Point. So here to tell us more about their amazing partners and their mission is Irvit Goel, the VP of Global Games Business Development for Polygon. Welcome to the show, Irvit.
Hey, Sage. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you join us. Yeah. So I guess we should just
glad to be here.
From the top. How about you break the ice by telling us about the objectives of Polygon Studios to get started?
Yeah, let's do that. So the primary objective of Polygon Studios is really to ease the transition of developers, brands, creators to the Web3 sector. Once integrated, you're right, we provide world-class support ranging from marketing, game design, tokenomics, to technical and strategic assistance to both emerging Web3 IP, as well as, right, your large Web2 developers like a Tilting Point. We also offer access to leadership from both, large Web3 as well as Web2 ecosystems, right? Many of the team members we have are from, Google, Unity, Amazon, YouTube, right? The list goes on. So we've attracted some of the top talent from the technology industry to be at Polygon and Polygon Studios. I think overall our large focus on sustainability, as we don't think Web3 will be successful without that, and that means right we'll be going carbon negative in 2022. And so that is kind of the high level overview of Polygon Studios.
Yes, congratulations for setting that amazing goal about going carbon negative. Best of luck with that. Now, Tilting Point's probably one of the main reasons we wanted to connect with you today. They're a major free-to-play game publisher. Could you help us understand a little bit, as blockchain games are becoming more popular, what are the main differences between free-to-play and play-to-earn blockchain games, and how do NFTs come into play here?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's I think a hot topic these days as folks are used to free-to-play games, right? It's really brought gaming to the masses. So for those that aren't aware, right, free-to-play gaming model, you get to download a game, usually on your phone. Now even PC games are becoming free-to-play. There's no cost to get in and start playing, and these developers tend to monetize over time on a small segment of customers that choose to, buy games in items, premium content, or potentially over a larger user base via in-app advertising. And so, it really lowered the barrier to entry into games. So, folks weren't having to buy a $60 copy of a console game per se to really jump in and have a great experience. But I think the big difference there, right, is the money that's being spent by consumers on the items that they are buying, they don't have any ownership over. And that's where NFTs or non-fungible tokens come into play, and the play to earn or what people are now calling play and earn model is coming in. And so maybe a little bit more on the play and earn model. It allows players to earn revenue by engaging in the in-game system, the in-game's item, whether they're crafted, earned, or bought. They have ownership. Users have ownership of those items, and they can be traded, resold, or even moved around maybe to multiple metaverses. So there's more value to the items and allowing consumers to really take control over their digital items.
Absolutely.
And so I think the last piece I'll say there, right, is just it really increases the options for monetization for developers and better aligns player and developer incentives.
That's so great. I just love how it's a very positive energy transfer, it seems, and it creates value as well for people doing what they love and for their time that they're putting into this activity. So thanks, Irvit, for explaining that for us. With an increase in blockchain games being taken up and produced from week to week, what do you think the important factors are in keeping ahead of the curve for game designers?
Yeah, that's another great question. I think from my standpoint, right, what we're seeing, right, I get the beauty of living, call it 6, 12, 18 months in the future by looking at the projects that are being built that haven't come on market today. And so, really in Web3 or these blockchain powered games, they really need to be competing with the largest AAA existing franchises that exist in non-blockchain games. And so, me and the team are working really hard to really work with these large key publishers to build AAA experiences on chain. And the reality is for these games, the core gameplay and the mechanics will have to be super fun, and the blockchain mechanics should just enhance that and really go in the background. Customers shouldn't really feel that they're playing a game on blockchain, right? And we have to simplify that experience, and that will be key for the game designers. And I think the last piece would just be balancing in-game economies, right? As you start thinking about assets moving in and out of games, it just becomes a lot more complex, right? It's more like running a real economy than a closed ecosystem where the items in game have no value.
Okay, thank you so much. So just a question on that. You mentioned the AAA games, the quality of them and blockchain needing to meet that level. What are the major differences? Is it the quality of the graphics? Is it clunkier sort of mechanics?
I think graphics is one. Yeah, graphics is one piece of it, right? I think there is what you've seen today in blockchain games is developers coming to market fast because the space has been hot. And so the games haven't been fun first, economics second. They have been economics first, fun second. And so it really changes the appeal of what a game is. And so for us to, as an industry, really drive mass adoption here, the games still need to be fun first. And then, the monetization piece needs to be layered in. And that's where the incentives between players and developers get aligned, because if players are having fun and monetizing, then developers are generating revenue. Players are happy to spend money because they're enjoying the entertainment, and it leads to kind of our partnership with Tilting Point. Right, it's an award-winning free to play games publisher that's going to move their way into Web3. In the partnership with Polygon, and they have a track record of releasing games with large franchises, right, like The Walking Dead, and there should be some really exciting games coming from Tilting Point over the next 12 to 24 months.
Great to hear it. So also just one more question on that. I understand that Polygon's involved with the Sandbox. Could you help us to understand how protocols like the Sandbox and Virtual Land is different to a game?
Yeah, so I think there's probably a bifurcation between games and metaverses, and Decentraland, right, or Sandbox are metaverses, and they have gaming experiences inside of them. And so there will be a world where, folks will hang out in the metaverse. And what do they do in the metaverse? Well, one piece of that will be playing games. And so, maybe more relevant for folks who may be familiar with, Minecraft or Roblox or a Fortnite. I mean, those are metaverses in their own ways, right? People go into those experiences, and within those experiences, there are many micro experiences and different types of games that are being played in there. And so I think that's a different differentiator.
Great, thanks so much for that. So Pokemon Go, just to mention them, because that was pretty big a few years ago. And what I noticed about it was that it brought people from, basically they were polar opposites, and they came together over this game and found something they could talk about and really enjoyed, which is interesting. So how do you see the vertical integration of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and augmented reality becoming a turning point for gaming? Do you think it's really that important to incorporate this?
Yeah, I think there's always this hunt for mass appeal, right? And so as you mentioned with Pokemon Go, right, even non-gamers or folks that would identify themselves, that play games, came in because it was a unique concept and it was easy to call it pick up, and it brought something new, right? It almost, for those that are old enough to remember the Wii days, right? Folks that never picked up, a game controller were playing the Wii because of its kind of revolutionary technology at the time. And so I think as we think about how AI or augmented reality comes into play, it'll certainly, be a part of it. And, it's specifically in games today, right, with smarter AIs. There's better computer players, or what we call NPCs, that are there. So they play more intelligently. So if you're not playing against another player, you're playing against a computer. That computer generated player will actually, react differently based on your actions versus being pre-programmed in a certain way. And so I think you're starting to see larger worlds, more interesting worlds, and AI taking advantage of that, especially in game development.
Yeah, that's so true. And I can see sort of the evolution of a transmedia type marketing platform, if you know what I mean, on multi-levels with the game, maybe an app and then social media, maybe even an experience. Do you think that would be part of a game's marketing plan moving forward?
I think that's exactly right. I think games marketing will become even more unique over time because of the options that open up. You imagine if you have a game experience inside a sandbox or Decentraland, not only would you promote your game, in that experience, but now the sandbox or Decentraland are incentivized to promote your game. Those are built on Polygon as well, so Polygon's incentivized to promote the game. And there's more unique experiences or tangential experiences, right, as games bring in IP that could be interesting to go promote the game. So I think it's going to open up a much broader funnel for users to come in through.
That's great. Actually, on that point, and as we reach the end of the discussion, we've got, I think, one more interesting topic to discuss with you. Can we just talk a little bit about the safety of playing games, internet safety? We've heard about a few hacks recently and things going on, and as it grows and becomes more sort of able to communicate with other blockchains, what's the element of safety? How is that being affected by this growth?
Yeah, look, I think we're still super early in the space, and anytime there are large amounts of financial assets, there's going to be bad actors. And so, in general, we at Polygon are laser focused on safety. We're a permissionless but fully decentralized blockchain, and we have 100 validators that keep the blockchain secure. And so there haven't been hacks per se on Polygon where you've seen those elsewhere. But it's things that the industry itself is working on quite aggressively, knowing that these things will need to be solved and very secure for us to onboard, call it the next billion users on chain.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And Watch to Earn is evolving the content creation sector too. I think you mentioned before that blockchain can empower user-generated content by giving the onus of ownership back to the users or the creators. Do you see the development of the metaverse as a place where people can walk through various interactive game world portals as well in the future, perhaps?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple questions in there. I think around Watch to Earn, I think there is some power going back to the streamers or augmenting their current monetization. I think it probably offer actually a more fair and transparent means for streamers to get paid for what they do, and potentially even eliminate the middlemen and give creators full control over their overall monetization. So I think Watch to Earn and creators creating content on chain will become super interesting. And then in terms of multiple experiences in a metaverse, absolutely. Even today you can walk in, you can play a game, and kind of go into the next room, which might be an art gallery, showing NFTs. And so there are also very diversified experiences within metaverses that will continue to grow over time as we scale.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. Ervit, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. We really appreciate your time.
Of course, thank you.
Best of luck with your projects going forward.
Take care.
If you've just joined us, we had a very inspiring discussion with Ervit Goel. He is the Polygon's Vice President of Global Games Business Development. And for the full interview, please head to Kalkine Media's YouTube channel and keep watching for more of these live expert talks and market insights. Till the next episode, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine Media.